which holidays and events are important to us. So I think for a lot of us, we'll say, Christmas is a big one, summer's a big one, depending on what the brand is. But actually, are they really important to us? See, there's a lovely picture there of a Happy Mother's Day bargain bucket. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but my mum wouldn't be too happy if I took us to KFC for Mother's Day. So if I was KFC, this would not be an event that I'd really want to go after. I wouldn't want to maybe push a sale because it's Mother's Day. Just because it's Mother's Day, is it really a time I really want to promote something? Actually, what we need to do is look at whether it's really relevant as a business. So if we see that during the month of April that there's a lull in maybe one of our products, so maybe if we took yoga gear as an example there, we can see that actually there's a business benefit to actually, we need to increase this as a product over this period of time. So how can we relate that to Mother's Day? Maybe we can look at running a campaign about how we can get mums fit, women, fit during this period of time. So actually, how does it relate back to what the business objective is? And then also, what are your competitors doing? So it's important that we don't just get stuck in our ways and think, it won't work for us. Actually, what we need to do is look at what's worked well for competitors in the past. There's nothing wrong with seeing that, Ford or ASOS or another brand has actually done something really well, and looking at how we can use that for our own benefit. And then also, what is your audience looking for? So tools such as Pinterest, Brandwatch, and all these different kind of social tools are really important for us to highlight opportunities where, okay, what are people talking about Mother's Day? What kind of content can we create that's really relevant to us as a brand and not just talking about Mother's Day for the sake of it? And then something else that we hear quite often is around nobody's talking about us. So as an example, we might say that our products only sell during the winter months, and we only have one product. Actually what we need to do is we need to look at the complete life cycle of that content, and we say, okay, our product only sells in the winter months, but in maybe January, maybe not January, August, what kind of content can we create that's around awareness? And then maybe, in the winter months, what can we push as a promotion? So these are just a few things that we can use to actually identify really what the opportunities and trends are that are really important for us as a business. I'm just going to hand you back over to Polly, just to give you a few examples.
So the Sochi Olympics were a huge, huge opportunity for us, for obvious reasons, skiing. But how could we harness that power and take it through into a marketing campaign? So initial research shows the Ski Club of Great Britain are having far more calls about beginner skiers wanting to get involved, how they should get involved, where they should go away. Snow Sports UK has also reported there's a lot more people on the slopes now, in indoor ones, dry ski slopes, all just having a go. And with inspirational people like Lizzie Arnold and Jenny Jones coming back with medals, it's really brought snow sports back into the picture for the UK. So we had to look at what we could do. We actually had quite a lot of website content already. So top tips, packing lists, where to go, how to parallel turn videos, loads of stuff. But do you know what? We needed to get it out there. That was the really, really key thing. So we focused on our stakeholders, and we had a look at how we could actually take that content and push it out, and more importantly, pull people back into the brand. Press trips was a big one. So gone are the days where you just get one article in, let's say, the Times, months after the journalist has been. They're now tweeting real time from the slopes, taking pictures of our hotels, taking pictures of their family learning to ski. And your article's also going online as soon as they get back. So everything is far more immediate. So we've had some great press trips and some great content come out of that. Bloggers. Now, if I'm going to be honest, Mark Warner has really, really kind of floundered around for the past 2 years about how to work with bloggers. We had, SEO agencies saying to us, you've got to work with bloggers, you've got to get in there. But I think it's really, really difficult to get into that community. They're very closed, and you've got to take it gently. And actually, from this January, we started working with 6 amazing mummy bloggers. And they really are now an extension of our brand. And they have that authority within their community to really help us get our message out there. So 2 of the bloggers are actually going skiing this season for the first time with their kids. So you can see up here, we've got gorgeous kids, Helen Wills, who's one of our bloggers. They're trying on their new ski kit, and little Bug is about to go for his first lesson at Hemel Hempstead Snow Centre. I mean, this content is so valuable to us. It's coming from an authoritative source that really isn't, it doesn't look like marketing. It doesn't look like we're pushing it in people's faces. And as you can imagine, these mummy bloggers have a huge, huge following. Partnerships are also really keen for us. I think a lot of brands are quite nervous about getting involved with other brands and partnering with them, but actually I think it's a real opportunity. You get lots more content coming in, you can share information, share knowledge, and also get out to a new database of people. So it's a real mutual relationship. We've been working with the Snow Centre, Skiplex, who are a kind of treadmill type dry ski slope, and we held a great family event with our bloggers in February with them. And also Profeet, who sell ski boots. They've provided us with some fabulous content on going skiing for the first time, what to look out for when you're trying on your ski boots for the first time, how should they feel, what should you look out for in the hire shops. So some really great content. Also, back in house, our sales staff are fabulous, and at the end of the day, they're the ones that are converting people on the phone. So we took a bit of time out, we ran through the content with them so they could easily talk to clients on the phone, direct them to the site, and get them kind of engaged with the brand and the community. So did it work? Well, yeah, it did. So we've got 20% year-on-year increase in sales on our beginner ski weeks. We have 15% increase on people who are booking ski lessons with us. And we're the top 4 keyword grouping now for beginner ski holiday.
How are we going to push the message in the right way? The way I like to look at this is, I'm not sure if you're all familiar with the programme that's been on TV recently around Poundland, but if it's raining outside, they go out the back, fill up a bin full of umbrellas and put it out the front. So I think actually what we need to do is look at what's happening with the weather, what's happening with the seasonal aspect, and what we can push dependent on change in sort of the wider environment. And actually looking at how we're publishers. So it's the first thing there is that time is money. So as I mentioned before about Mother's Day, I think some of us are guilty about saying, okay, it's Mother's Day, let's write a post or let's write an article about how we relate to Mother's Day on Mother's Day. I mean, really, that's not giving us enough time. What we need to do is really plan well in advance and look at how we can look at our content plan to make sure that if we've got if Mother's Day is coming up, what can we create well in advance to make sure it has legs for that time period?
So I think ASOS is a fabulous brand. I think that they really, really do some amazing stuff with the community. We all know that they sell bucket loads of clothes online, but actually their community is amazing. So they have a fabulous ASOS Fashion Finder section, which is a great example of some brilliant content. And do you know what? They're not doing it alone, which I find really interesting. So that they're doing their own tips, their fashion trends, their hot pieces, etc., which is fabulous content. But they're also getting bloggers involved. So each blogger can have their own profile on ASOS. You can click through to them, they can upload cool looks, using all the ASOS clothing, piece together fabulous content, top tips, articles, etc. And it's a really great example of the symbiotic relationship between the brand and bloggers, because ASOS is getting some really great content out of it, but the bloggers are also showcasing their community, their blogs, their social media feeds, etc. So they're both getting some great stuff out of it. So this is a brilliant example of evergreen content. Topical content. These two are brilliant. It's not the most glamorous of campaigns, they're not the biggest, they're not the most wow factor, but they're just really, really clever. So we've got Not on the High Street, which is a retail brand online, obviously. And over Christmas last year, they sent bloggers 3 £30 vouchers that they could then go and buy presents for other bloggers. So it's kind of like a secret Santa. So they went out and the bloggers bought different presents for their friends, and they were all sent off, and the lucky bloggers got gorgeous presents from Not on the High Street. They didn't ask the bloggers to blog about them. There was nothing. It was all very natural. It was all kind of around a whole kind of goodwill vibe. And they got some great articles from the bloggers. And speaking to our bloggers we work with, they absolutely loved it. They thought it was brilliant. There was a great buzz around it. Over Paris Fashion Week, they sent some key fashion bloggers beautiful clothing, but the downside is it had stains on them. So with their pack of beautiful clothing with stains on it, they also had some Ariel stain remover. So the whole point was these bloggers were meant to go out and get the stains out of these clothes, very delicate clothing, and in the end they could then keep this item of clothing. Again, fabulous content, and actually not really the most natural connection between fashion bloggers and Ariel, but actually in the end came round to be a really fabulous campaign.
Localized advertising online and both offline. So it's not just down to all those online channels. What are you doing as a business? And that's the key thing today. What are you doing as a business to really maximize your sales in localized areas? So this is an example here that's probably we'll go into.
So this year, for the first time, we put 12 social media representatives in our resorts around the Alps. It's been a huge, huge success. Their mission was to really bring our hotels and our resorts to life through social media, all in real time. They're the ones on the ground. They know far more what's happening in resort than we do. We actually produce some fabulous content from this. Everything from ski fitness tips to the perfect ski cake, to videos, to ridiculous photos like this. That's actually Mustafa, who is our dog that lives in Le Plan. Anytime we put a dog picture on Twitter, obviously it goes totally mad. So it's worked really, really well. And actually we set them some guidelines, so kind of tone of voice, what we want them to write about, over Christmas, what's the resort doing over Christmas. But actually, they've engaged with it so much more. They're actually tweeting now the whole time. And our followers are going up. And you know what? It's really helped the staff to get into the brand a bit more, which I think actually is a really essential thing. Also for us, obviously, snow conditions are really, really important. It's very obvious that as soon as the snow falls, our phones ring. And if we can be the authority giving people that information, then obviously it's a positive to us. So as soon as the snow falls, what happens? The guys go out there, they're taking pictures. They've got awesome pictures of them in fresh snow, fresh powder, bluebird days. If that doesn't sell ski holidays, then I really don't know what does. James is going to take a look at the data now.
So we've identified there what the opportunities are, and then also how to distribute that. But really, how do we actually track what's going on? So this, and actually how can we do that in real time? So this quite cool little dashboard here that Matt Stannard, head of analytics at 4Ps Marketing's done, is actually he's integrated the weather into our analytics profile. So we can actually see where the opportunities are with our content. So for example, here on the right, we can see our authors. So lovely Sally over there had a 37% share of people actually reading her content. We can also see on that day it rained. So, what kind of content are we writing on that day based on the weather, and actually what's the uptake of that content? What's that effect been on our products?